This past Saturday, the SRX season came to a finish. The 2022 season is the second year of the Superstar Racing Experience, aka the SRX. And, well, if you looked on social media, which, again, probably is always a mistake, it wasn't really the glorious end that last year was. I want to give you a little bit of a recap of this season and the things I thought went well and also things that I think can be improved upon, which are many. But more on that right after this. As we race towards the NASCAR playoffs, there's no time to waste when it comes to getting your food made. That is where Factor comes in. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. Factor helps make it possible for you to achieve your daily goals through nutritious and purposeful eating, with offers of keto, calorie smart, chef's choice, and even vegan options. In a wellness market full of unrealistic diet plans, Factor is a welcomed and new approach to prepared food with premium ingredients with integrity. Here, I'm having some Italian sausage and lentils between running 15 miles for a marathon training session and going live on my YouTube channel. To get your Factor order, head to go.factor75.com/iceberg120 and use code iceberg120 to get $120 off your order. Again, head to go.factor75.com/iceberg120 and use code iceberg120 to get $120 off. Now, back to the show. But to get that kind of reference, you need to have the reference point of Season 1 in 2021. When the SRX was initially announced, I remember that a lot of hype was really spread through the motorsports community. Many thought this was going to be the return of IROC. In a sense it was, but more at a grassroots level. Well, last year when every one of the races were done, all of them were well over 1 million viewers each, and there was a lot of hype behind all of these different old-time drivers that we missed in their prime, all racing against each other, from open wheel and stock car racing alike, to ringers, to whoever, to different drivers coming in like Chase Elliott and dominating and winning at Nashville. It was just pretty much anything that could go right did go right. Big crowds, big TV numbers for a new racing series. It seemed like it had arrived. Well, Season 2 kind of saw a sophomore slump in my opinion. The hype has completely settled for the SRX. The SRX at this point is more of a geriatric IROC. It just seems like in a lot of ways, this has sort of went slower in this past year, and things have definitely had the fun trying to be put into it, but not really succeeding the way that it did in Season 1. I think I gave Season 1 like an A- or so. Like, it needed improvement, but it was really good. I'd give this season a C. It was just average. A lot of motorsports fans, a lot of my friends who are motorsports fans, who would watch every single race last year, struggled to even watch half of them this year. And you know what? The viewership proved that. At Five Flags for the season premiere, there were 951,000 people watching on TV, meaning that this first race was down 24% from the first race in 2021. 982,000 watched South Boston, down 28% from the second race of last year. Stafford, race 3, saw 975,000, down 29% from the third race. Nashville Fairgrounds, which had all the hype behind it from the NASCAR push, didn't even crack 1 million viewers with 981,000 for the fourth race, down 7% from the fourth race last year. I-55, the penultimate race, had 1.058 million viewers, down 21% from the penultimate race last year. And then Sharon, the season finale, was the most watched with 1.064 million, which many could say is a Chase Elliott effect, but that was the same effect that was 18% higher in viewership in 2021. Meaning that on average, it was a flat 1 million viewers per week, down 20% as a whole from last year. And let's be real, had Nashville Fairgrounds not had a bump up the way that it looked compared to not falling too far back compared to the others, And had Elliott not showed up for Sharon, I'm pretty sure this is definitely lower than 20%. And I think that there's a few things you got to look at for that. Number one, you got a lot of old drivers. When Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, Elio Castroneves, and Tony Kanaan are your big headliners, the 5 guys that everyone really can point to and say, hey, those guys have raced in some, if not all, the races, well, these guys are past their prime, and it's going to show to a lot of newer fans. Yes, you can bring those older fans in, but newer racing fans that are getting into F1 and, in some respects, NASCAR aren't going to really tune in to see people that they never watched before. This series needs, with the old guard, new blood in it. Young stars that could really shake things up like Colton Herta or Ross Chastain. Talented guys that people might show up for or need a bit more exposure for the respective racing series. Or old aggressors if you want to bring old guys in. Guys like Jimmy Spencer and Robbie Gordon. Talented drivers who maybe didn't get their fair shake in the rides they had in their career, but definitely could ball out basically and have a ton of fun and be like a second or third Paul Tracy added to it. And these are just things that they can do immediately. They could fix things up. You also could maybe add cars. 12 cars for me just seemed a little too, little. It seemed like when I was watching at the Nashville Fairgrounds that everything got too strung out too quickly. There wasn't much racing after the restarts because it was harder to pass. And I think that having 16 or 18 cars out there could make it a lot better and maybe could add lap traffic in depending on how much faster one car is than another. Also, one thing I want to note, being there in person, the time stopped between the 2 heats and also the main was unbearably long at the track. It, I think, was 20 minutes or so. And at the track, if you weren't working on a car, you were just sitting there for 20 minutes. There was nothing really to do, and it was definitely something I have a feeling people tuned out on TV. So getting a faster pace will definitely be a way to keep people engaged and probably drive up that viewership, and you can probably even have a bit longer races too if you want. But I don't think any other problem really shined in a bad way as much this year as the championship problem. You see, in the first race of the season at Five Flags, there was a bit of a scoring error. Marco Andretti in Stage 1 finished 5th, in Stage 2 finished 10th, and finished 7th overall, whereas Ryan Newman finished 7th in Stage 1. In the second heat, finished 3rd, and then finished 3rd overall. So Andretti would have had 23 points, and Newman would have 36. Yet, on the SRX website, they had Newman at 36, which he should have been, but Andretti at 26, matching none of the points metrics that their format has. Well, it's because they had a bit of a scoring error in the first race of the season. They put Marco Andretti in 12th on a restart instead of 9th, and this was in a heat, so in order to try and rectify it, the SRX gave him 3 bonus points that they think he should have had because he would have been higher up in the lineup on the restart and could have earned more points. They announced it at the drivers' meeting, but there was no formal public announcement to say that this happened. So a lot of fans were in the dark, and a lot of fans were saying Ryan Newman should have been champion. Well, based on the rules that they kind of made up on the fly, Marco Andretti is the champion. And I just want to say this right now. I think it's a complete BS reason. Gifting people points for no reason is basically the same thing NASCAR did when they gifted Jeff Gordon a playoff spot in 2013. And what's really funny about this is the SRX billed itself as a no-nonsense, just for the fun of the grassroots kind of racing. We're not NASCAR. Well, this is an awfully NASCAR-esque move, just saying. There was very poor PR work that didn't clear any of this up for a lot of fans, and unless you were really paying attention to the championship, which, let's be honest, if you're watching the SRX, do you really care about points racing? I don't think you do. Season 2 just felt flat overall in every sense of the word, and everything seemed to take a step down compared to what was a great first season. But I want to pass it on to you. What'd you think of the second season of the SRX? Did you like it, love it, not like it, kind of in the middle? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel for more great racing content. Thank you to all my channel members for your continued support, and be sure to watch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Black Flags Matters channel. It's going to be really fun. We have tons to talk about. So until next time, have a good one.